Hey, guys. Happy Sunday. This is Moss Sajady with Moss on Sunday. Um, Fantastic time. I'm actually here in Rio with Carnival, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But today's topic is on the empath, the narcissist, and their dynamics in between that. A lot of you, from what I'm seeing, from what I'm hearing back on social media, is that this is something that you've been really been looking for the truth or the first principle definition on what empaths, what narcissists is all about, and then how to turn it around, to your benefit. Okay, which is really fantastic. So if you have any questions, again, this is an experiential show. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and we'll answer. Oh, thanks for the color. Thank you, guys. How's the hair? Look at how many of you guys, by the way, cut your hair. I know Demi at the backstage, he cut his hair. There's a couple of other people um, cut their hair. So how many of you cut your hair or wanted to cut your hair? Even if you wanted to cut your hair, just shave it off. It was such a great feeling. Now you can see it's kind of growing back on that. So, in our culture, by the way, they say the more you shave your hair, especially if your hair is thinning, the more thicker it's going to get back. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm going to believe in it. So, all right. Yeah. So, all right. This one, is it possible to be a narcissist towards oneself? Absolutely. Yes. So let's just jump in, shall we? And then what we'll do is we'll get into reading people, individuals, see if they're narcissists or empaths. Okay. So if you're new to me, what you can do is say, "Hey, I'm new," and I'll go ahead and scan you and see where your level of empath or narcissism is. So we'll grade it from, let's say, like a scale of 0 to 10. Okay, 0 to 10. So it'll be a nice little change up on, say, just reading people. Alrighty. So let's go ahead again. Narcissism, empaths. How many people of you think you are an empath, or and just write down empath, or how many people think that you're a narcissist? Okay. Alrighty. And I'll give you the first definition, explanation of it. But before I do that, I'll give you the standard term of what an empath or narcissism definitions are, and say some of their habits. Okay. So in this Moss on Sunday, we're going to go through the connection between empaths and narcissists, why they need each other, why they attract each other, and then the codependent relationship between the two, and then also traits of an empath, traits of a narcissist, sociopath, psychopath, etc. So what are the differences, or what are the different levels on that? So it's very, very interesting. Again, if you guys are a psychologist or anything similar to that, I think it'll be an eye opener. By the way, a lot of individuals who are psychologists, psychiatrics, or something of that nature, do XR, and it benefits them because you, especially those individuals who are healthcare workers, healthcare type workers, whether again you're a nurse, a psychologist, or anything else, acupuncture, energy healers, whatever you want to call yourself. You mostly are a therapist. You mostly are, say, an empath. Okay, and there's a reason why, and the reason why you became somebody like that, or you don't have to be, say, a healthcare worker, especially, but if you are of also a type that says, "I'm going to save the world because the world is not fair." How many of you are out there, right, saying that? Okay? And then you go into, say, Greenpeace, and there's nothing wrong with that, or some other quest, right, to conquer the wrongs of humanity. You would be an empath, and some of those empaths, by the way, turn into, say, psychopath or sociopaths, by the way. Okay, and we can talk about that as well. So just remind me to talk about that. All right, so we'll go into the standard definitions of all these things. And where did I put the standard definitions? There we go. Just give me 1 second, guys. And you know what? Let's make it an experiential experience. So as we speak, especially nowadays, if you've noticed my abilities getting more, say, succinct, more laser focused on, say, shifting you and transforming you. In this case, it would be on, empathic or narcissistic type scenarios for you or frequencies for you. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in as we go through the process. And then you, not psychologically, because your psychology kind of fucks you up, right? Because it's not true. And the reason it's not true, it's not because you're lying. It's just because you have a filter of your identity of what you think or who you think you are. And that filter dictates how you process information. So although your friends might go, shit, you're a narcissist, and you go, there's no way in hell I'm a narcissist. Well, maybe you are, maybe you're not, but again, we need to remove or step away from that filter of self-identity or self-image to really understand if we are. Okay, so and that's really the key. So what we'll do, take a deep breath in again, is take you a step deeper or maybe step away from that self-image of yourself that you have. Okay, so it's going to be a cool experience. A lot of you will feel it. Some of you might not, but it still works on you. It's just that you have such a strong identity of yourself from fear and so on that you just go, shit, no, Moss isn't going to change me. Moss isn't going to be, pulling me away from that identity that has, helped me through the past. That's all. So that's why some of you might not feel anything. Some of you who listen to this as a recording, the benefits are almost the same. So you'd still probably get the same effect. All right. So take a deep breath in. Again, just notice where you are. Spatial reference. Notice your reference points. So look around you. Okay? Look around you, any visuals around you, and then notice a body part. So, the windows in front of me out here, beautiful. We're in Rio. Beautiful trees, my collarbone right here. That's all you got to do. Look at another object. The credenza is over there. My left ear is over here. So you do the same for you. Notice the sound of my voice, the direction of the voice, where it's coming from. Could be earbuds, headphones, speakers, whatever it might be. And then a body part other than your ears, it works better, like your toes. Really get you connected. Do you notice as I generate those frequencies, do you notice how you're starting to separate yourself? And comment in if you can. I'll still keep you in that state. That's a cool thing. This isn't like a meditation per se, where you get knocked out. It's literally a paradigm or a reality that put you in. So take a breath in again. So it's not a mind state, by the way. You're just seeing yourself from a different filter. There you go. Do you guys notice yourself kind of like separating from yourself? And again, comment in. Or tingling. Okay. So really fantastic, guys. For those who are commenting in that they are noticing it, allow yourself to keep pulling away. The further you pull away to a special distance, the better it is for you, because you can observe yourself. Okay, you can observe yourself. So as you take a deep breath in, some of you who don't feel it, was it Lexa? Just notice your neck. There's a lot of fear in you, by the way. That comes from, I want to say, a grandmother of yours. And that fear has always controlled you, and you always want to control things. So that's why. So take a breath in, and you can just let that go now that you know about it. All right. Breath in again. Some of you might feel warm or hot. Again, you're pulling away from yourself. So your body might feel like, oh shit, I'm dying, or shit, I'm losing my identity, because you are. You're going to a higher identity of who you are. There we go. So it's if you close your eyes, for those who don't feel anything, that's totally fine. Close your eyes, okay? And for those who do, we'll just keep continuing further. So close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Just relax and just start to allow yourself to float. Imagine yourself just floating on, I don't know, a river, comfortable, lazy river, and you start floating away. Or you start to feel like you're flying. You just start to float, just kind of like you're in a hot air balloon, just floating away, and you're comfortable, you're relaxed. So what this is like for you is that if you've ever been underwater with no goggles, right, it gets really blurry, right? And you can't really see how you're seeing yourself in that environment. You can't see your environment. So what this exercise will help you do is you notice your back. So you're feeling fear and all that. That's just because as you pull away, the fear that's you've been latched onto, your identity for so strong, that fear is coming out. So again, allow yourself, examine that fear, for example, and let it go. Okay? Or allow it to let it go, or just observe it as I help you pull away even deeper. But when you're underwater and it's blurry, and you can't really see yourself for yourself because you're too close to the environment, right? That you've created. So what we do here is we separate you so you can see for real your environment that you're creating. And this is like you put goggles on. You know, you've got goggles and you go underwater and you see how clear the environment, and you go, holy shit, I didn't know that that was even there, because you couldn't see it for yourself. So it's the same principle. We're just helping you peel away from who you really are. Just kind of take a break. You know, it's Sunday. You can just kick back, relax. You don't have to show up as a CEO job, you know, that's burning you out, or that mother, or that, you know, if a relationship is burning you out, you can just take a deep breath in, by the way, and just go, just exhale and go, I'm just going to be me, the higher version of me, not the bullshit version of me, but the higher version of who I am, the real self, that real self that I know that I am deep down inside. Okay. There you go. So I'm going to go through these lists now that we're mostly into it. And you kind of see what resonates, and see if you see or experience anything about these traits. First one is being an empath. So an empath, and this is really interesting, and I just pulled this off a dictionary, online dictionary, and it's in quotes. It says chiefly in science fiction. So in this scenario, they don't even believe that they're empaths, okay? Or that possibility exists. But chiefly in science fiction, a person with the paranormal ability to apprehend the mental or emotional state of another individual. Okay. So that was one of the definitions of an empath. The interesting part is like, it's in science fiction. Science doesn't believe. Well, some science do, I think, but science doesn't believe that. Well, there are people who can actually see or sense some of these individuals, right? You all do that. Really fantastic abilities. Okay. You're really, I mean, again, really fantastic abilities, but that empathic ability, which is true because I do it all the time in a very, very different way, by the way, is that it destroys you. So you're using a powerful tool that destroys you. Before I get into the conventional definition, guys, I want you to know that being empathic is a powerful tool if you use it properly. If you don't use it properly, it's like a powerful tool that will destroy you faster. Okay, so it's a good thing that you have, because a lot of people go, well, I'm empathic, so that means I burden the shit out of me, and it's a negative thing. It's not a negative thing. It's really a great, fantastic tool. And you know, throughout the courses that we're going to be bringing out this year, we're going to be helping those empaths cycle up to a higher level. I was an empath at once as well, by the way. Little kids are empaths. They start to see the original form of being an empath, kind of gets on the side, but take a breath in again. The original form of why you're an empath is because when you're a child, or in that liquid stage, 0 to 7 years of age, okay, even before by the way, because your spirit kind of comes in and tests the water, hangs out around the mother, by the way. Okay, which is really interesting to see, and that's why some of you I've asked is like, oh, are you pregnant? And they go, no. Well, there's a spirit hanging out with you, wants to jump into reality with you. It's like, and then they realize that, oh, hey, Moss, you told me I was pregnant. I wasn't. Now we're pregnant. Well, that's why. So even before you're pregnant, that first instance of, say, a sperm and an egg coming together, there's a spirit that hangs out, wants to test the environment. Hence, an empath. Okay, wants to test the environment and see how it is. You jump in again into your mom's belly. You start to see the environment. You have to test it out so you know how to balance yourself in this environment. And then you get born. So the first, say, 7 years of your life is being very empathic and absorbing everything around you. That's why it's so important. And this is where filter should come in. So take a breath in again. This is where your parents should tell you, oh yeah, you're probably feeling my garbage that I couldn't release for some reason. You shouldn't do that. So then you teach your child to go, okay, my mom or dad has garbage. They didn't know how to figure it out. Maybe I can. At least they're telling me, don't hold on to my garbage. But most parents don't do that. Most parents, and I heard this bullshit, somebody was talking about honoring thy parents and their mom and dad, right? You got to honor your mom and dad. No, my dad once told me, he goes, you should honor you should honor me, but you should also honor the truth. And I'll talk about that in just a second as I'll draw it out for you on what empath is really about. Okay, you should really honor the truth. But again, as we honor our parents, and that's just one reason why, and our parents didn't really say clean up their bullshit, so they just dump their stuff because they think they're right onto us. And then, well, we just keep absorbing. And then over a certain period of time, we're supposed to turn that mechanism off or guard it or filter out. But the problem is that we didn't filter out. We didn't know how to query out or filter out those things that aren't beneficial for us. And then we just absorb everybody's patterns. Right? So in a nutshell, that's why empaths become very destructive to themselves. And then they would attract narcissist individuals who destroy them even more. So take a breath in. The term empath comes from empathy, which is the ability to understand the experiences and feelings of others outside of your own perspective. So stepping into somebody else's shoes. Say your friend just lost their dog of 15 years. Empathy is what allows you to understand the level of pain she's going through, even if you've never lost a beloved pet before. So in that scenario, basically what you're doing from an XI perspective is like pain you have, and by the way, for you to experience somebody else's pain, even in this example that they give you, you would have had to run through some type of pain and then also have a pattern or program of a healing somebody with pain. Okay. So in this scenario, that's how you have that ability. So basically the pain it starts up in you, and then you duplicate their pattern, which is an okay version. Some people will pull their pattern from their friend. Okay, they'll pull their pattern, and I'll draw this out. They'll pull their pattern from their friend and dump it onto them. Their friend feels better. How many of you have friends like that? It's like, I just love talking to you. Every time I talk to you, I feel so much lighter, so much better. And you walk home just like fucking with, like 2 bags of cement on your back. How many of you feel that way? Right? Well, that's what you're doing. Okay. And I'll draw that out for you. Okay. And let's get into, say, narcissists, and then we'll give you the first definitions on narcissist. Person who has excessive interest in or admiration of themselves. So narcissists basically think that the world revolves around them and everybody should cater to them. Common narcissist characteristics are inflated ego, lack of empathy, need for attention, repressed insecurities, few boundaries. But in fact, in this reality, in this scenario, or from an XI version, they actually have a lot of boundaries. But most people or psychologists would think that narcissists have very few boundaries, but they have more succinct boundaries than most individuals. And again, that might be pushing against you, because you might go, oh shit, I have a narcissist friend. They have no boundaries at all. No, they're very specific on their boundaries, and they know the limitations of who they are and themselves, although it doesn't look that way to you. And I'll give you the reasons why. Symptoms. They have an unreasonably high sense of self-importance, and require constant excessive admiration. So whether they keep looking at themselves in the mirror all the time, or wherever else, or they feel like they deserve privileges and special treatment, right, among anybody else, expect to be recognized as superior even without achievement, and then make achievements and talents seem bigger than they are. Okay? I'll tell you where narcissists and I'll tell you where narcissists go awry, and then I'll also tell you that if you look at those individuals who are narcissistic, they tend to achieve great things. So is it bad or is it good to be narcissist, right? So again, why are some of the common traits of being a narcissist so fantastic for high achievement? And then when you see those high achievers, and you go, shit, they're fucking narcissists. They're terrible. I don't want any part of that. I don't want to be a narcissist. Well, here's the key, and this Moss on Sunday will like demystify all that stuff and all that bullshit in between all that, so you start to understand the benefits of being an empath, the benefits of being a narcissist, so you can use it properly. Okay. One last thing, I promised we'll do sociopath, psychopath, and so on like that. I'll get into that just a bit later, but let me share my screen real quick. It's kind of hot in here in Rio, by the way. Oh, you know what? So Emmy and I, we're walking down the beach. We took a 2-mile walk, and let me tell you, it's like we're walking around, and Emmy and I were both looking at each other, and it's like, God, I feel like like we're aliens. It's like literally we landed on this planet and we were observing these species of humans, and it's like they didn't feel like human. How many of you have gone through the XI process and you just don't associate with humanity anymore? And we were tickled pink, by the way. Sometimes it's like, yeah, it gets a little lonely and all that. But actually, we were tickled pink. It's like, shit, because I don't want to be any part of that. Now, there's nothing wrong with having fun and drinking and all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But you don't want to do it the way they do it. They do it to lose their identity of who they are. You can do drinking, smoking, and I'm not condoning anything, drugs, whatever it is, to expand into who you are. But most people who do it here in Rio or the Mardi Gras or wherever the hell else, there's parties and so on like that. They come somewhere, it's like, shit, I'm going to leave my self-image at home. I'm going to be another person when I'm in this country and just go all out and lose myself completely. So that's what they do. So there's nothing wrong with having, again, Mardi Gras, Carnival or anything like that, and dressing up. That's actually very beautiful. All right. It's like honoring life. But that's the key. You honor life to understand who you are at a deeper level, and then you enjoy each other at a deeper level. But again, most people, unfortunately, they have that, or they do that most of their lives. They do that to lose their identity of who they are. So that's just a side note. Demi, I'm going to share. Yep. Okay. By the way, you guys should see Demi, man. He shaved his hair. He needs to write a Russian novel. He looks like those Russian novelists, man. He looks so cool. All right. Where are we? Didn't work. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can see that. Okay, live, perfect. All right, guys. Hi. Alrighty. So um, let's take a deep breath in. By the way, when I read some of those descriptions on being an empath or narcissist, how many of you kind of cringed or said, "Yep, that's me," or had some kind of emotional experience around that? Okay, there might be something associated to it. Even if you don't think you are, you might have a complementary, say, value that say connects to narcissists. So you might not be, say, a narcissist or an empath, but you would have, again, a complementary value system that will magnetize you to an empathic person or a narcissist pattern. Okay, so if you felt something a little different, and even if you deny it, it's like, fuck, that's not me. There's probably something in you that is. So I'm just trying to be kind, guys. I'm not trying to go, hey, you are what you are. We want to be truthful to ourselves. Take a breath in again. So this is how empaths. This is the first definition of empath. And by the way, we are doing a special empath deep state meditation coming up. So if the team can put the link on there, guys, it's going to be fantastic. It's all going to be deep state meditation um, the whole time we're going to be there. So we're going to really go dig in deep. And then, so this is the explanation. So if you're going to do the empathic meditation coming up, well, you'd want to listen to this Moss on Sunday, because this explains the science. Okay. So the power of the empath, I think it's called, right, Demi? Yeah. So anyway, so if you're into that, I would sign up, and then again, this is the key or the demonstration for that. So you're an empath. You're here, okay? And I'm just going to show you between mom and dad. Okay? But you can replace mom and dad with anybody else. Okay, so because that's your first instant, just like a duckling, when they see whoever they see first, that's their mom and dad, right? You basically open a component in you, that in your brain, that says, oh, I'm supposed to trust them. So that's what humans do as well. So the first instant they see, unfortunately, today is a doctor, and then it's like they get kind of confused, right? So again, in babies, you're supposed to see, again, mom and dad. So this is you, this is mom, this is dad. Okay. So what happens is that you start to absorb, and the direction that you want to go towards is, say, here. Okay. This is where you want to end up. This is your life journey, and all your life journeys are the same. All your life journeys, no matter what it is to be your best damn possible self that you can be in physical form. Okay. How do you integrate your higher version of who you are, your limitless self of who you are, integrated into your physical version, your limited version, your time bound version of who you are, and again, be the best damn possible version of that. That is your journey, no matter what you do. Okay? How you do it? You want to be an engineer? You want to save the whales? You want to, I don't know, save starving kids? That's totally fine. But if you don't, again, accomplish your goal, no matter what you did in your life, will not count worth anything for you. On your dying day, you look back and you go, shit, I did something wrong, or I wasn't good enough, or I didn't do what I needed to do. There's many people who become billionaires. There's many people who have helped millions of people on their dying deathbed. They'll go, I didn't do enough. This is the reason why, because they didn't find themselves on their journey. Okay, so that's another side note. Coming back to empaths, take a deep breath in, guys. So this is you, this is your mom and dad. So what happens is, over time, this becomes you, this becomes your mom and dad. Okay. So your mom and dad are a version of you, right? You start to absorb, and because of genetics, this is happening to you already. Over 90% of your genetic are inherited by, say, your mom and dad. It's like literally hard coded for you, so to speak. Not really, but it's harder to transform. You know, like your skin color, hair color, and all that stuff. And then that other 10%, you're free to roam. Okay. What you're supposed to do, by the way, is when you see your mom and dad like this, and then you as a child, let's move this over. You as a child, you start, 0 to 7 years old, you start to go, hey, I'm a lot like my mom. I like that. Or I'm a lot like my dad. I like that. And then there are things that you start to wake up to, and then you go, hey, mom, why are you doing it this way? So this is where you're starting to see your environment. This is like, why is Uncle so and so like that? Is why is Grandpa so and so like that? So you're starting to see your environment, other people around you, and you're starting to go, well, shit, they're doing it wrong because you have a natural handbook on how it should be. But then your mom and dad goes, no, damn it, don't listen to your natural handbook. That's been it's been evolving for, I don't know, over billions of years, I would say. You listen to me, and this is eventually what will happen is that this is you. Your mom and dad say move out, so to speak. Your mom and dad is here, but you've morphed into another version. It's literally like cells that split. Right? Here's a cell. It splits in two. It creates two identical pieces. So basically, this cell is 3 cells. It's split off from your mom and dad. Now it's an identical piece of your mom and dad. It's just a merging of your mom and dad. And that's where you become empathic. You didn't close the gate. What you're supposed to do in this scenario, I'll just erase all this for you. What you're supposed to do is, again, this is mom, this is dad, this is you. You start to go forward. Okay. So you start to go forward, and you start to become an observer of your mom and dad. This is true empath people. Okay. You start to become an observer of your mom and dad, a little forward in time and space. Okay. And out of the reality that you're in. Take a breath in. So you're not in the same reality, because as Einstein said, if you're in the same reality as, the problem, you'll never find the solution. This is why you become an observer of your life. As a young child, 0 to 7, 7 to 14, those years, those kids are so amazing. They could be like philosophers. They could literally be like Marcus Aurelius, because they'll see life. And this is where such brilliant wisdom, if you allow them to talk, they go, shit, where did they come up with that? Well, this is where they come up with it, because they're out of this reality and they're starting to see this. And then they're empathic. They honor their mom and dad. It's like mom has these traits. These are good traits. Mom has these traits. These are bad traits. Same thing with dad. So what you do to evolve is like, oh, you know what? I'll take the good traits of mom, take the good traits of dad. I'm gonna remove the traits that I've inherited from mom and dad. Right? These are your bad traits, and then the good traits, obviously. So I'm gonna remove all this bullshit, and then I'm gonna absorb and morph into another identity here of all good traits. Again, a better evolution. So once that is set in place, you might go, well, what does this have to do with me being an empath for other people? Well, here's the key. You did not learn how to remove the bad traits. You did not learn how to decipher what was good and bad for you. You did not learn how to go, oh, that specific trait of mom is good. What you did is you said, oh, she's got some good traits. I'm going to copy all of mom into me. And that's how we stay close together. That's how we love each other. That's how well we suffocate the hell out of each other. So your friends, if you look at it, are the same way. Your friends will suffocate the hell out of you. Your love relationship will suffocate the hell out of you. And that's because of what I just said. It's just because you did not learn at a very young age. I'll give you some reasons why, on how to decipher what was good and what was bad. Later on, and I've taught a lot of you on going, oh, you're a great empath. Let's help you decipher what you admire in that individual. That individual, this is great for successful people, business people, and so on like that. Mentorship, by the way, right? It's like you look at that person and it's like, damn, they're really successful. What did they do? What traits did they have to become really successful? And you start studying them. You don't want to pull their whole, say, genre into you, because then it's not. You just copy just the pieces that made them successful. Okay? And then you become successful in your own version, which is really important for you. So does this make sense to you guys on, again, how being empathic went wrong? We're all empaths at a deep level, okay? And this is what happens by the time we turn, and I'll just give you a second if you want to, I don't know, screenshot this or whatever. Some of you want that. Hopefully it makes sense. This is what happens by the time you turn into your teens, okay? Okay, a wrong empath. You've got all the good, you've got all the good, you've got the bad of both your mom and dad. And then you've got the good and bad of you. And they're all mixed into one version of you. And this is where you start going crazy by your teens and going, fuck, who the hell am I? Because now you're three versions, right? These things are duplicated. The good, sometimes the good habits contradict the bad habits of your parents, for example. And again, this is where that internal war comes through. And this is where, well, a lot of shit happens, and you start to lose your identity even more. As you start to lose your identity even more, what happens? You connect with friends out here. But since you didn't know how to use the empathic, say, principle properly, what did you do? You connected with a person that, well, needs a person with an identity to hold on to. Since they know their identity, they're very specific on, say, what they're lacking, okay? What they're lacking, they'll connect with you because you have a lot of identities. That's the key. You have a lot of identities. This person does not have very limited identity of who they are, okay? They're not a complete picture. Say out of, say, 10 pieces, out of 10 pieces that they need to be a complete picture, they might only have 2 pieces. So this would be considered a narcissist, by the way. They're very well defined on, say, what they are lacking. If you know a narcissist, according to this definition, what was it? Boundaries? No. They know who they are. They know their limitations. They know their limitations so strongly. It's like, out of these 10 ingredients, I only have 2. I'm missing 8. So I need to attract somebody that has the 8 ingredients. So again, so this is 2 out of 10, say, ingredients of being a complete person. And the numbers don't mean anything, guys. This is just an example. Your empathic person, which isn't mathematically possible, but in this scenario, if you copied your mom and dad completely, and each one had 10, okay? And obviously you didn't have that one identity. So you'd have like 29 out of 10, which is, again, it's a mathematical impossibility, that equation, 29 tenths. Does that make sense to you? Because you have a lot of personalities in you that you didn't get rid of, because you're only supposed to have 10. But now you have 29, say, personality traits or identities. And then what empaths do is, like, again, how many of you are like this, by the way? Take a breath in, notice your chest. What you do is, shit, it's like, I got to find myself. I'm lost. I don't know who I am. I have so many opportunities and so on like that, right? Or you have so many likes and dislikes. This is why, because you have so many values. You're only supposed to have 10. Narcissists only have very few values. So what do? This becomes a molecule. And you know how molecules work, right? Molecules, I'm not going to, well, maybe I They're like pieces of the puzzle. Okay, this is an empath, and then this would be a narcissist, and they fit in really well for a while because they're borrowing each other's, and they feel like one for a while, but over time this narcissist starts to realize, no, wait, this isn't my emotions, this isn't my personality, this isn't, it doesn't fit really well in them, and this is where they start to become more and more sadistic and even psychopathic. Right? If they become really, really successful, by the way, they start to hate humans because those humans that are out there, no matter who they are, they start to realize it's like, shit, you know what? They didn't help me find who I am. And then this is where narcissists start to become into sociopaths. This is where they start to come into psychopaths, and they start to harm other individuals, or they start to dominate, or they create a tyranny, right? Again, very oppressive behavior because they hate people because they didn't, the people that they say connected with did not help them find themselves. So that's where sociopath, psychopath, and this is where, well, some of the people maybe that run this world, they're becoming psychopathic at this juncture in time because it's like, shit, we've lost ourselves. Now the money isn't worth anything to us anymore because the real value is coming in for people, right? And it's like they're oppressing people, or they're killing off people, or as Bill Gates said, we need to reduce the population, right? Because of our carbon footprint. That's all bullshit. It's because those types of individuals have lost themselves more and more because of this, say, equation that I just stated right here. How many of you are like that as well, by the way? So do you guys kind of understand the concepts of an empath? Narcissism, the reason why they're so successful, by the way, okay? Concepts of narcissism. And like I said, the power of the empath, we'll go through all this. We're going to go through an exercise in deep state meditation, hyper meditations that allow you to say remove and use the power of the narcissist to become successful. It also allows you to use the power of the empath to copy other people's success patterns really fast, because a narcissist and an empath, this is the way you want to do it properly. Okay, this is a narcissist, this is an empath. Okay, so an empath has a great ability to copy other people's patterns because they understand what that other person is. But again, they're in, this is the top level scenario, first principle scenario. So this individual being an empath, they start to realize it's like, shit, that person has what I need, right? And they go, how do you do that? Which is really cool, which is really fantastic. So so this person can copy or step into somebody's shoes and feel how it works. The narcissist behavior actually is a good thing because it's like, no, wait a second, I have these qualities here. I need, X, Y. I need X, Y, and Z qualities. So if you combine the narcissist and the empath together, you become a really powerful person that doesn't get fucked over when they become really successful. Because the narcissist goes, you know what? I only need X, Y, Z identity of this person. That's all I need. This person has X, Y, and Z. This could be like money skills. This could be like salesmanship skills. This could be like, I don't know, empowering people, whatever it might be. It's like, I like these qualities. I don't have, the narcissist will go, I don't have these qualities. I need them. Your empathic self will search for that person that has these qualities. And the empathic, say, abilities will go, oh, if you did it right, again, just weed out that specific XYZ quality, and then comes out you with your X, Y, and Z. And this helps you define who you are, not who they are, but it defines who you are, and you become a whole person. And this leads you to, wait for it, this leads you to technical difficulty. This leads you to, again, your final journey of understanding who you are at a very deep level. Okay. If you go to most psychologists, if you go to most psychologists, whatever, scientists, oh, you don't want to be an empath, because empaths get hurt, they get damaged. Oh, you don't want to be a narcissist because they end up in jail and they start killing people. And I knew a narcissist, and well, they were doing it wrong. If you knew the first principle reason on why you have an ability to be an empath and narcissist, you would use it for your benefit. As a note, we're going to be doing more and more first principle definitions on exponential intelligence. Season 3, by the way, I think. Although we've been doing it for 10 years. Is it season 3? Are we calling it? It's not. Yeah, season 3, where literally the whole, all of the XI podcast, Exponential Intelligence podcast, is talking about first principle definitions of major words, because these words have been messed up and they destroy individuals. We have to redefine or enhance society by redefining the definitions that society is guided by. And to me, everything is messed up, guys. I'm not saying you're doing it all wrong or anything like that. We'll shut down the screen, buddy. I'm just saying your definitions of how you do things are off, and that's where you get into trouble. Okay? Because again, we all want love. There's nothing wrong with love, but love with abuse, and you're an empath. What are you going to do? You're going to love a narcissist that beats the shit out of you. That's called love, right? You want to run, and there's nothing wrong with love. And people go, well, I need love. Well, yeah. It's like you need to redefine love to find the right type of love. All right? Did that make sense for you guys? Let's check this out. Somebody's saying hi. I'm sorry, say that again? Yeah. Yeah, if you can. Yeah, that'd be great, because I can't see it. Okay. Got it. This one's really good. Children can listen to all of what Moss offers. They change faster than the adults. Mighty Savage. That is so true, guys. I know sometimes I swear, but big deal. I'm sure they've heard worse in school and all that stuff, guys. So that's not a big deal. And it's just some definition that somebody put to word. So again, have your kids listen to this. Have your kids listen. How many of you have kids and they listen to my stuff and they go, shit, that makes sense. You might not make sense of it, but your kids go, damn, that's right. That's the way I feel. So have your kids listen to this. Okay. So just copying the part. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, you got to talk louder, buddy. Why empaths get along so well? Oh, empaths get along so well because it's like, so imagine that it's like, hey, you know what? Let's go to brunch, right? These are a group of empaths. Let's go to brunch. I'll bring salad. I'll bring I don't know, steak. Steak. I'll bring the fruit. So empaths basically, all those personalities of salad, steak, and so on, they share all the personalities that they are. So they exchange and they feel better because the person that had just salad as their personality now has a piece of steak. So they just added on, say, an extra identity to them. So over time, and that's why empaths, they do get along together. It's not that it's beneficial, but over time, those empathic people, they've got so much on their plate. They're not like 29 out of 10 personalities. You keep going to parties, right? And you keep sharing your personalities. That's what you're doing. You're going to have like 100 over 10 personalities in you. So as you age, you go, fuck, you know what? I'm tired out. I've got way too many personalities. I got to, cut down. So that's why they get along so well. Okay. So just copying the particular success patterns and not everything else. Yes. If you can start, and that's what empathic, and that's what you should have been trained from 0 to 7. Just like your parents should say, you know what? I have heart issues. And that's what I did, by the way. My heart's getting better and better. I go to test, pristine, by the way. That's what one doctor said. Your heart is pristine. So my dad has heart issues. My mom has heart issues. Obviously, as a young kid, an observer, obviously through the near deaths, going, shit, I need to have, say, those genetic patterns. Many of you, how many of you through XI are observing, right? You're observing patterns of other people. Basically, you're in that mode of observing. It's like, I don't like that. And again, don't make it a big group. Just don't glob on to one big group. Like, I don't like that person unless, they got a lot of bad points on them. But it's like, okay, I don't like a lot of that person, but what is that one piece that I might admire in them? And then it allows you to say, again, peel away a certain fragment or a thread of frequencies that you can use. Okay? The one thing for women, when they want security and money, this is what women do. They've learned that being a woman is not safe because of their mom, or they get abused, or they got sexually abused and all that stuff. They're treated on TV and all that, right? Wherever it comes from, it doesn't matter. So what do? They copy the security of a man, their father, or somebody heroic or whatever. You don't want to do that. And most people go, well, security that's a male frequency. Sensitivity, that's a feminine frequency. It's not. It's really not. It's just that those two have been bound together. So what you want to do is separate just security. If you're copying a man's frequency, say like your father, a lot of women do that, and then they have father issues later on, right? So you just want to copy. It's like, wow, what made dad so secure? And then you go, well, he was a man. That's your first indication. And that makes sense. As a kid, it's like, well, he's a man. No. You keep asking. That's why kids keep asking why. Keep asking why. Okay, it's like, yeah, he's a man, but why is he, right? Why is he so secure? And you keep asking yourself that, and this is how you barrel down or get to a granular level on where or how they become secure. And you go, oh, this is the say concentrated version of what security feels like. And then you install that into yourself, and it feels grand, and you go, shit, I feel like a real woman. Or in a man's case, I feel like a really strong man. Because again, you're doing the concentrated version or the first principle definition of that stuff. Okay. Somebody's saying, hi, Emmy. Again, guys, Emmy is really fantastic. Highly recommend Zach and Emmy, guys, doing their meditations, especially if you're new. It's a pre-starter because it really helps you come into the XI world, because it's not psychology or emotions or therapy or anything like that. It's literally about frequencies. And with my abilities, it's really intense for a lot of new people. So I recommend Zach and Emmy as a starter package to help you get into understanding frequencies and shifting. And then when you do my stuff, it's just a hell of a lot faster. By the way, please like these videos, guys. And I want to congratulate us and the team, all you all. We're over 10K subscribers, so thank you so much for that. We're getting more and more views as people start to awaken. So really, we should do some kind of celebration or something coming up. So we'll tell the team. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll do something. And if you guys can think of something, guys, comment in. Okay, what we could do for you. Just want to listen to their podcast they do together. Yeah, their podcast is really fantastic. So. All right, so let's go move on, guys. Let's move on to reading individuals. And again, thanks, guys. I know they're my kids, so obviously they have the right frequencies for you. Let's go move on to, if you want me to scan you all. Obviously, I can't scan all of you, but as we get into that, as a note, I'm not a doctor in any way. So if I tell you, I don't have the disclaimer, but that's okay. I'm not a doctor in any way, so if I tell you anything, guys, again, I'm just telling you what I see. I could be way off. I could be a crazy man. I'm not a financial analyst or anything like that. So again, do your own research on it, and please only ask once to be scanned. And then also, all rights are copyrighted here. You cannot use any part of this without our written permission. All right. So a lot of stuff coming up. Actually, today, sensuality. That's an oracle circle. It's a higher end So for those individuals who are really into sensuality, really want to get into it, we're going to get, I don't know, like 4 hours of deep state meditation right here in Rio, right? So we're going to do that. That's coming up. Trust the process. That's February 25th. The power of the empath. That's what I was talking about. That's coming up on the 28th. And then personal deprogramming. It's the second part of the Valentine's deal. So this is self-sabotage in love. So getting rid of all the stuff that we don't need in love relationships. And then the 18-day, as always, guys, starts March 6th. So that's coming up soon. So get ready. How many of you guys are excited for the 18 days? It's been a while, right, since we've done the 18 days, right? All right. This is RS. Scan for my son, please. Yes, it almost feels like you have two sons, not just one. I could be off, or you might have lost one. By the way, if I analyze you or scan you, can you please comment back? I know I'm accurate, but it's good for you to understand it, and it's good for those people who are kind of not believing to go, gosh, where did he tap into? So yeah, it feels like you've got two sons. It feels like you might have lost one, and that kind of distorts it, or distorts your son. And then also, this is the empath, right? So your empath level, or you used to be, you're a lot better now with XI. You pulled away. You're more self-sustaining of yourself. In the past, you would have been, say, out of 0 to 10, probably like an 8, 7, 8, where you would love your son to death. So extremely, again, suffocating. By the way, those parents, he goes, well, I need to provide everything for my kids, because I don't want to have them go through the same thing I did. And no, you don't want to. But again, if you're providing everything, they don't learn. So you need to provide things for them, but they need to do their own stuff. Okay. So that's part of you. So basically what's happening for you now is literally you're stepping back, you're coming into your own power, and he's kind of, becoming destabilized, because now he's learning at his age how to stabilize himself, where he should have stabilized at 7. It's a good place to be. It also allows you to understand, again, how you say maybe coddled him back in the day. And again, you can still love them, but again, don't destroy them by being that empathic person. Please scan. Thank you. This is Judy Kniss, or Nis, Kniss. If I mispronounce you guys, I'm so sorry. Judy. So for Judy, you are an empath. I would say you literally, your gauge goes from like 5 to like 12, 14, so even past the scale. So with that, Judy, what happens is that usually you usually you are an independent person, a recluse kind of deal. Does that make sense to you? You're more independent, or you close yourself off. That's where you're a lower version, because if you hang out with people, you absorb their personality. But where you become a 12 and 15, way past the scale, is because when you get into situations, maybe like your father, really pushed upon you, or a masculine individual really pushed you and like dominated you and dictated you on what to do and what to say, how to be, and so on, like that. So you have that personality type that, again, a father, a masculine version, dictates everything that you do. So you lose your propensity to do empath properly. So when you get into a relationship, it might work out good, but then again, you turn into a 15 level empath, and then basically says, because you don't know who you are really, and then what you do is you absorb all that person's garbage, just like, again, a masculine identity. And that masculine identity, it doesn't have to be a man, it could be a female that, say, comes into you. So that's where you are. And in this case, basically separating you, you've done a great job. It seems like you might be new to XI, or even if you've been here before, it's a new realization. It's like, wait a second, I need to create my own identity and not step outside of myself to create an identity. Okay. This one, Amen. Hamas would love you to scan my 9-year-old. Your 9-year-old, he goes to different realities. He's like 3 different personalities almost, and it's not different personalities. again, not a doctor. I'm not a neurologist or anything like that. But basically, he has really fantastic abilities. Again, this is where all these kids, they get into, psychologists, they get into all this stuff, and it's not right. It's not right at all. It really makes me sad. Parents and society just needs to know that, you know people need to spatial reference. So spatial referencing is really important for you. Your 9-year old, by the way, because you run fear. Your 9-year old, goes into three different realities. So he steps into three different realities, trying to say find a solution for you or for his mom. Can't quite tell. And it could be a girl, but it feels like a masculine, a boy frequency. Okay. Um, oh, something about that too. Did your did his did so if it's a girl, if your 9-year old is a girl, did somebody wanted a boy? That kind of feel. Okay. And even if it's a boy, say the father wanted a boy, and then that boy frequency doesn't match to what this boy is. So it's that kind of feel. Like could have been, somebody. This happens a lot to sports people, like, well, Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example, he's a bodybuilder. His son's not into bodybuilding. Like, and Arnold's going, fuck, I wish my son was into bodybuilding. That kind of scenario. So it's that kind of scenario or that kind of push. So again, for your 9-year old, just helping him push off, say, expectations of who he thinks he should be outside of the two of you. So this allows him to separate his identity, and then he gets to choose. And then since you're in fear, and if he's trying to save you, for example, or again support you, it's like, hey, like say the kitchen's on fire, your 9-year-old goes to one room and goes, oh God, is there a fire extinguisher or something I can put out the fire? Oh, there's nothing there. I'm gonna go to this other room. No, there's nothing there. I'm gonna go to this other room. So he's always kind of running in these realities, trying to, no offense, save you, or that might have been something in the past that he did, so you can stay more calm, so to speak. And again, that could have been something in the past. Okay. Oh, it says AMN. Hi, Moss. Would you love to scan my 9-year-old? He doesn't have a 9-year-old kid. Okay. If he doesn't have a nine, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't. It says I don't know, but well, whoever that is, or if Amin, I don't know why you would say scan my 9-year-old, because that would, or okay, so if you don't have a 9-year-old and say you're 30 something years old, that would be the 9-year-old version of yourself that you operated in. Okay, so it'd be very similar. Okay. um so guys, as a note, be succinct on your questions. But either way, so if you don't, yeah, Amin, if you don't have a 9-year-old, that's basically you as a 9-year-old, always coddling your mom, always trying to save your mom, and then your dad not feeling good enough, that your dad thinking that you're not a good enough boy, basically. So this is Carol. Please scan me. Yeah. So yeah, Carol. Sure, I can scan you. So for you, Carol, you seem to be in your head. I don't know if somebody's dying around you, or you took care of your mom or dad as they're aging. Seems like, but it's like somebody else's. Or you've been the burden taker, or you took care of your mom when you were younger. Either way, basically, it's taking care of your parents. You have a propensity of, say, taking care of somebody. You would be the type of person that would get into a relationship. Take a breath in. By the way, as I work on you, just cleaning you up, you would be the type of person that would like end up with a spouse that would be handicapped at some level, and you would end up taking care of them. So that kind of pattern. So you don't want that pattern, because then you're always bound. So for you, you'd always say be bound to something. Okay, something would always like, I want to do great things in life, but I can't because I am taking care of somebody, or I have to. If that's not the case, the pattern is still the same. I have to go do this first. So do you see that pattern? So whether it's a person that you took care of and that's where it originated from, or it was your mom taking care of her mom, so to speak, and then the burdens of your mom not doing the life that she wanted to do just jumped onto yours, onto your life. So either way, again, you can't do what you want to do because there's always someone holding you back. That's a pattern. So let's help you separate. I'm not saying not help people, but again, you can help people and learn to expand and grow where you are. Okay? And by the way, I'm not just scanning you. I'm just helping you start to see those realities that you run into, so you can disconnect from them. This one, RJ, please scan me. I've become very isolated and wasn't sure if this was good for me. Yes, this happens a lot to people. It's just this process. Jesus went through it. Buddha went through it. Tesla goes through it. Nikola Tesla. A lot of people. I go through it. How many of you feel that way, right? So you don't associate with a lot of people. What you're doing is like you're resetting that empathic value from 0 to 7. You'd have to say reset yourself or pull away from people and be an observer of your life. Okay, and the less variables there are around you, the more succinct or the more accurate you become about yourself. So you're starting to see, it's like, shit, this is the patterns that I run, and you can't it's because of this, or it's because of that person that I integrated with, and that's why I am no way. No, so you start taking responsibility for where you are, and this is where again you might feel isolated, even if when you're with a group of people, you'll isolate yourself because you're pulling yourself away from, say, the same level of reality that most people are in. Again, you pull away, and the reason for that is just because of what I said. It allows you to see clarity on, say, the patterns that you're running. So it's actually a good thing. Let's see. Oh, this is cute. Uh, okay, just one more, and then we're done, guys. M means love in French. ME means self-love. So no coincidence, Emily's gift is teaching self-love. That's so true. That's so cute. I'll have to forward that to her. There's so many guys. So sorry. Can't get to all of you. People writing back, commenting on how accurate I was. That's awesome. This one's Sarah. Hi. I would love a scan, please. I feel I don't know. Stuck, I guess. So Sarah, take a breath in, Sarah. And again, as I work on one, people work on the rest. So when I see you, Sarah, it's like you really don't know anyway. And it's not just this point in time doing XI. What happens is, I see several times where you get to a pivotal point where you can actually say change and transform yourself of who you are. But then what happens is that you get to a point and you go, I don't know, and then you drop back to your old pattern. So again, the pattern that you need to delete is not the I don't know part, or not sure, or the lost part. Okay. The way you would do that, Sarah, is take a deep breath in. So take a breath in. And again, overall patterns or people that run your pattern is like you get to a new destination. Say you're on a trip, new country, new whatever, new opportunities for yourself to do something very different. But then since you don't know what to do, you'll get back on the plane and then go back to your old state, or recreate the exact same scenario that you ran away from before. So in this case, it's a great opportunity. So for you, what I'm helping you do is like start to realize your old self and your new self. You almost feel like two people. Okay, the new version, and you would ask yourself, Sarah, it's like, well, the old Sarah would do this. What would the new Sarah do? And you ask yourself that at a conscious level. Okay, brushing your teeth, washing your hair, whatever it might be. Uh, Again, going to a restaurant, whatever it is, choosing a job. Old Sarah would do this. What would the new Sarah do? And when you start asking yourself, you just expect an answer, not here, because that, again, that's the old Sarah. You would just wait for an answer to show up. And for you specifically, you'll feel an answer. If it rings true, it's in your solar plex. It's almost like you'll get a feel or a heaviness in the solar plex, the bottom part of your sternum bone. That area, you'll just feel, something there. So that's the direction that you should go towards. Okay, guys. All right, guys, really fantastic. A lot of great points. Hopefully this helped you out. We'll see you again on the next Awesome Sunday. And again, hit the likes button, subscribe, so we get more and more people on the XI train. And that's where we help consciousness. Peace.